Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Gary Owen, Kevin Harvick, your final four going into Homestead, Miami today. Who's going to come out of here with the championship? Denny Hamlin coming in as the clear favorite with 8 wins on the season. Kyle Busch made his way into the final four with as well 4 or 5 wins on the season. Kevin Harvick had multiple wins. Gary Owen just hit 5 wins on the season in the last race at Homestead, Miami. It's going to come down to one final race here at Homestead now. Denny Hamlin, the clear favorite. Like I said, we're about to find out who is going to be your champion here today in Homestead, Miami. Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new episode of NASCAR Heat 4 Career Mode, the end of an era for us here. But we're going to start things off with a quote from Jeff Cluck saying, one last race with you in the 41, what does it feel like knowing that, especially with the chance to go out as champions? I respond, it is an emotional feeling, Jeff. We've had 3 great seasons, we've got the S there at the end, together. This team has stuck together through the highs and lows, and I just hope we go out as champions. Obviously, it's time to get straight in to the action this weekend here at Homestead, Miami. Greg Biffle in the truck for us here for our final time as a Ford manufactured team here in the Truck Series. As obviously next season we're going to the 42 car in the Cup Series. We're going to be Chevy for Xfinity trucks and the Cup Series, as well as we know we're replacing Kyle Larson. So I'm actually going to be giving you guys some updates on how Kyle Larson's dirt track racing is going throughout the next season, which was an idea by a subscriber. Basically, I'm going to have little snippets here and there of the Tony Stewart dirt racing game to just kind of quote-unquote show how Kyle Larson's season is going. But we come through here to the Xfinity Series, where we had subscriber and actually a teammate of mine in the Nitro Racing League and friend Bryce Armstrong in the car, starting in the midfield. Our final race in the Xfinity Series, unfortunately it did not go as planned at all, as came through out of turn 2, heading down this back straightaway, making some 3-wide moves early on in this race. But he certainly got into it with some other drivers as this race went on now, as he came through turns 3 and up turn 4, getting into it with Jeremy Clements. And there you saw, I think it was the 36 on the far outside, as the 08 of Greg Golding nearly goes spinning, but they all kept it straight. But it was very struggling for Bryce here throughout this race as he came through now onto the final lap, through turns 3 and down towards turns 4 for the final time here in the Xfinity Series. I'm kind of disappointed we're going to have to give up this paint scheme next season in the career mode. I really enjoyed having this paint scheme on the car, but Bryce come to cross the line in P19, unfortunately, here in Homestead, Miami. But now it's time for the big one here, our final qualifying effort with the 41 car. We've done 3 whole seasons with this team, and it's just a kind of almost an emotional episode here, as it's, like I said, the end of an era, as we're going to be giving up the 41 car next season, as Daniel Suarez will be hopping in. And after that, after next season, I'm still debating if we're going to have those kind of quote-unquote roster moves. We're going to see if I can incorporate that or not. But now on our final qualifying attempt here in the 41 car, obviously Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick are 3 competitors here in the final 4, as we will be competing for a championship for the first time in our Cup Series careers. We exit turn 4, heading down the front straightaway. It's going to be a pretty decent lap as we cross the line at 32.181, and we go P10 here for Homestead, Miami. So very happy with that, as we usually qualify anywhere from 16th to 20th on mile and a half. But all of our competitors are ahead of us, with Kurt Busch on the pole as we get ready for the championship finale. Who's going to win it? We're about to find out here in Homestead.
Welcome to Homestead Miami Speedway for the Ford EcoBoost 400. Tonight, NASCAR will crown the next Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series champion. Over 40 drivers started this season with high hopes and big dreams. But after a long season, only 4 drivers still have a shot at the title.
Alright, thank you, Rick Allen. We're ready to go green here for the Ford EcoBoost 400 at Homestead Miami Speedway for the championship finale. Kyle Busch is a one-time champion coming into this race because, like I said many times, he was a one-time champion when we started this career mode, not a 2-time champion in real life. Denny Hamlin, no championships yet to his name. Same for myself, but Kevin Harvick, also a one-time champion. And it's now SHR versus JGR as we are underway here for the Final 4 race at Homestead Miami Speedway. Who's going to win the championship? As you see a bit of a lighting change there, is he going to have to get used to that, at least in this first stage as we go into the replay mode, as Eric Jones is there on the bottom there. You see our teammate of Clint Boyer in the 14, our final race as well, with some of these great teammates that we've had in our first 3 seasons. Kevin Kevin Harvick, Clint Boyer, Eric Almirola. We've gotten along with them pretty much the whole 3 seasons we've been their teammates. So definitely going to be sad to give them up. And obviously next season we're only going to have one teammate, and that will be Kurt Busch. Now he's come through turns 3 and turns 4, right behind the 4 of Kevin Harvick. Obviously you guys are going to see me running that top lane the majority of this race unless I need to drop to the bottom, and if I can find more speed on the bottom, then you would definitely see me get down to that bottom lane. But as we go down into turns 1, Harvick, he's just running up top as well. Denny Hamlin right now leading the final 4 as we came through down into turns 3. Now on the second lap, we actually get into the back there of the 4 of Harvick as we came through turns 3 and turns 4. And he's going to get sideways, but he hangs on to the car. Already a bit of a moment there, but thankfully we all keep it straight down this run straight away, and we come through to cross the line here with 17 laps to go in the stages. Came through now on lap 4. Boyer had actually gotten ahead a little bit now as we were running P10. We looked to the outside of Alex Bowman there as we crossed the line with just 15 laps to go now in this first stage. Kurt Busch leading the way, our teammate for next season, so very happy to see that the one's running really well now, as he's always run way better than the 42 in the career mode now, as he came through now to the outside of the 14 and the 22 of Joey Logano. We battled it out with these guys for the next group of laps now as we came through on lap 9, still in this group here with Boyer and Joey Logano as we went down the back straightaway, but we had enough of a run down that back straightaway from that outside. We sliced to the inside of the 22 of Joey Logano as we went down into turns 3, and I decided we're actually going to try and slide up a little bit in front of him just to make sure we keep that position, and sure enough we hold on to P7 as Denny Hamlin was still leading the final 4 battle at this point, and Kyle Busch was in that second position for the final 4 battle now as we came through on lap 11. Running P8 with William Byron in the 24 car of Hendrick Motorsports, who looks like he's going to go all 3 seasons so far of our career mode without a single victory, unfortunately, for the Hendrick drivers. We go down into turns 1. Boyer was trying to put the pressure on as we took P7 away from him, and we actually started to drive away from these guys now in lap 13 of 19 in this first stage. Denny Hamlin had taken the lead of this race. Hamlin was showing a lot of speed here in Miami, which is exactly what we don't want to see, but exactly what I expected to see from the 11 team with Denny Hamlin. Kyle Busch still in that second final 4 position. Kurt Busch up there in the mix. Obviously he's not going for a championship, but now in lap 16 William Byron had actually started to put some pressure on me as we went down into turns 3 now on the next lap, I think it was, or lap 16 or 17 through turns 3 and turns 4. William Byron would make the pass on myself as we were approaching this, just 2 laps to go in the stage. I decided to actually just push William down the straightaway. He was clearly faster as we go down into turns 1. Jones and Menard up ahead as we were both closing in on those drivers. Those came through turns 1 and turns 2 now, just trying to hold on to P8 at least, but the caution comes out now as we have about a lap and a half to go on the stage, bringing out the stage, and Denny Hamlin wins stage 1, Kyle Busch second in the final 4, myself third, Kevin Harvick not even in the top 10 here, so very unfortunate for him. But we would pit for 2 cans of fuel, 4 tires. I was a little bit concerned after that, so I decided to make a wedge adjustment and hope that we would have something a little bit better here for the second stage, as things definitely don't look in our favor right now. Denny Hamlin will lead the way to the start of the second stage here in Homestead, Miami. Kyle Busch there in the 4th position, and then we're 3rd in the final 4 down in P9. Harvick on the row behind us as we go down into turns 1. So obviously I made that wedge adjustment, loosening up the car a little bit, hoping that it will help us out here in this second stage now, as we didn't have a great stage finish. Wasn't a bad stage finish obviously, but clearly it's just not enough, and we need more speed if we want to be able to contend for a championship here for the first time in our Cup Series career. But Denny Hamlin looking to make a statement here today in Miami. This is his second appearance in our career mode in the Final 4. The first time he appeared in the Final 4 in our rookie season, he crashed out of the race early on in DNF. Didn't even have a chance. So that was a very unfortunate race for him, and he looks to come back with redemption here tonight now as he leads away over second place of Martin Truex Jr., his JGR teammate, who hasn't even won this season, surprisingly, and he could go the whole season without a win, which would be a huge surprise. But here we are making some moves down this back straightaway, now up inside the top 5, looking like the adjustments might have paid off. We come through now on lap 5 of 19, still running in P5 now as we kind of all got settled out. Denny Hamlin still leading, Truex, Kurt Busch there second and third as they were battling it out for that position, and then myself here in P5 just behind 4th place of Kyle Busch, one of our final 4 competitors, as we weren't losing a whole lot of time, but Hamlin was just driving away, and I knew that we really are going to have to figure something out here if we want to have a chance to battle Denny Hamlin. We actually closed in on Kyle Busch now as we came through on lap lap 13 of 19 in the stage. Him and Truex battling it out here for P3 as I get into the mix of things now. As we come through turns 1, but out of turns 4, Ty Dillon goes spinning on the exit of the corner. He was hard into the wall now, and he's going to come back in front of traffic. Gets hit by Joey Gesa. Another heavy hit now, as there's multiple cars involved on lap 32. The caution is out. We would pit for 2 cans of fuel and 4 tires and get ready to go back green as we gain a position to restart P4. How are we going to compete with Denny Hamlin for this championship? I have no idea at this point in the race, but I'm very hopeful still. At the third and final stage, we know anything can happen to any driver in this field, so you never know. As we go down into turns 1, Truex up there on that front row, as well as we're right behind him. William Byron just behind myself there in that 6th position. Kyle Busch to the inside now as we exit turns 2. Unfortunately, Kevin Harvick, the other Final Four competitor, he is all the way back outside like the top 10 right now, so very unfortunate for him as we go down into turn 3. Currently, 2 drivers have DNF from this race as Kurt Busch chooses to take this higher lane. Truex goes through the middle. They're 3 wide for 2nd place. Kyle Busch, Truex, and Kurt Busch as we exit turns 4, heading down this front straightaway, but just struggled to really make up a whole lot of ground on this restart now, as we did get past Truex for a brief moment, but he would battle his way back as we came through to just 2 to go on the stage. Now up the inside of Kurt Busch and Truex, we're going to take them 3 wide down into turns 1 because I'm thinking about setting myself up as best as possible in that 3rd and final stage now, as we're going to still be 3 wide on the exit of the corner now, trying to make sure we don't slide up into the 19 as we get in behind them. And that was pretty much all I had at that moment for them both as we came through now to the final lap here of stage 2. You can just see the 11 continuing to drive away as we come through out of turns 2 on this final lap in the 2nd stage. Kyle Busch now up to 2nd as we're going to try and take 4th place away from Martin Truex Jr. on this final half a lap or so. In stage 2, Kyle Busch takes the top lane. Kurt Busch all the way to the bottom, and his Hamlin is on the bottom as well. The caution comes out again here on the last lap of the 2nd stage, and that will end stage 2 as we're going to get, what, P5 it was there, or P4, as we barely had the position over Truex. Everyone would eventually decide to pit, so obviously we decided to pit for 2 cans of fuel, 4 tires. I should mention actually 1 car did decide to stay out, and it's going to be a bit of a surprise to you guys who decides to stay out. It was Michael McDowell in the 34 car. If this final stage goes green the whole way, this could be the last restart now as we are underway here for the 3rd and final stage at Homestead, Miami. Now things are really about to get real for us. 25 laps to go. Denny Hamlin up there in P2. We know, like I said, he's had the fastest car all night, especially out of the final 4 drivers. I think the only car really able to compete with him on the longer run is the 1 car of Kurt Busch. So, like I said, I honestly don't know how we're going to be able to beat Denny Hamlin for this championship. Kyle Busch, he's pretty even with us, and obviously we're way faster than Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick has nothing here tonight in the final 4 as we come through turns 3 and turns 4. We can definitely write off Harvick as getting his 2nd championship, but right now it's myself in P2 here with Hamlin in front of us, both of us looking for our first Cup Series championship. On myself in my 3rd season, Hamlin well over 10 seasons now in the Cup Series as we come through turns 1 and 2. Martin Truex Jr. down on that bottom lane. Denny Hamlin, in my opinion, I consider him to be the greatest Cup Series driver without a championship currently in the Cup Series, and definitely if you look at it as a whole compared to Carl Edwards, Mark Martin, I would definitely put him very even with those guys as best drivers without a Cup Series championship. Now as we come through turns 3 and out of turn 4, Martin Truex Jr. obviously wants to get past us and help his teammate Denny Hamlin, who was just driving away. As we came through on lap 45 out of turns 4, Truex would get past me as I just did not have the pace that I needed in this car, so I decided to push Truex right there, but we would lose contact with him. Kyle Busch now was starting to close in right behind his brother of Kurt Busch, who was getting very close to me as we come through out of turn 4, nearly getting into the wall. So Kurt Busch, he goes to my inside, he drives by. We drop down now to the 4th position. Then Kyle Busch on lap 50 had run me down as this final stage just wasn't going as I was hoping it would. Now as Kyle Busch, like I said, gets past me just about as we exit turns 2, heading down this back straightaway. He slides up just in front of us as I decided to push him down the straightaway into turn 3 as we were just fading and fading as the stage went on, as I decided to actually try this bottom lane once Kyle Busch passed me, and we got through the entrance really well, but we suffered even worse on exit, and as I definitely came to a conclusion, the inside was worse, and as we came through now on lap 51 into the outside wall as we came out of turn 2 as we get sideways there, losing the back end, no damage to the car, but once again, a mistake there from myself, or really I think that was the first mistake we've made this whole race. We lose contact with Kyle Kyle Busch. Now the 24 of William Byron was closing in on me as the laps were running out here in Homestead, knowing at this point Hamlin is so much faster than myself and everyone. My only hope was that he would crash, to be honest with you guys, and I was thinking that really our only opportunity to do something ourselves is we're going to have to maybe pit a lap or two earlier than what the AI would, as William Byron's now going to come through and take P5 on lap 54. He's going to continue to kind of run that bottom lane. As you can see, the 5 drivers in front of us all running the bottom, but every time I would try to run the bottom, I would lose even more time than I was losing when I was on the outside lane, so I knew I could not go to that bottom lane, even if I wanted to now, as go down into turns 1 with 13 laps to go at this point, knowing our chances are fading. Now as it came to on lap 57, approaching just 10 laps to go here in Homestead, Miami, Denny Hamlin running away with the championship. No one can even come near him as we make a move, though, up the inside of William Byron, trying to take over P5 as we try to slide up, but we're a little bit loose on the exit of the corner. He fights back down this front straightaway now as we come through with 10 to go on now the back straightaway on the same lap 58, 10 to go. Like I said, down into turn 3, we go once again up the inside of the 24 car of William Byron, but once again it's going to hang on our right rear and it's going to carry that momentum as we slide on the exit of the corners. I was losing so much grip at this point, knowing now on lap 59 we had some cars starting to make their pit stops, so I decided we're going to come in a lap or two earlier than the leaders here as we come through out of turns 4. It was going to be a very easy call. 2 tires is pretty straightforward now as we get into the pit lane without speeding, thankfully. Once again, about half a can, or 1 can of fuel, sorry, it was. Right side tires, no repairs needed, and it was going to be an 8-second pit stop estimated now as they get the tires off with any issues, because we can't have issues on the pit lane. It would be nice if the pit crew could make pit mistakes, but thankfully we don't have to worry about that here today. Now as we exit the pit lane, P36, so obviously now we just hope it stays green for about 2 laps now. Maybe even 1 lap would probably be enough to get us back around and on the lead lap, as cars were, like I said, getting ready to, some have come into the pit lane already. And then the caution just came out with 8 laps to go, and just like that, our whole season, I think, has been completely wiped. Now, is the only thing we have in our advantage is we are the lucky dog position. So I come into the pit lane, put 4 tires on the car, and now we know our fate at this point. Our chances at a championship have been eliminated now as we have 4 tires on the car. The AI did take 2. Denny Hamlin leading the way, and it's not over for the championship. Him and Kyle Busch are about to duel it out for the victory of this race, and like I said, the championship here in the Cup Series. Obviously, my confidence was just destroyed at this point. Knowing that Hamlin was so much faster, even if a caution came out before I pitted, we weren't going to have anything for Denny anyways, because we were already so far behind in like 6th place, so I knew our chances were destroyed already. So I had to try something. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out in our favor now, as Denny Hamlin, though, leads the way as they go out of turn 4, heading down that front straightaway. We may get 4 wide there and get through it without any issues. Just 2 laps to go in the season there as I get into the back of the 43 pretty hard, but Denny Hamlin on that bottom leading the way. His closest competitor is Kyle Busch in 3rd, all the way on that top lane as we come through turns 1 and 2. We're running the top, and look how fast we are coming through the field. If we get up to like 10th place somehow before the white and get a caution, then all of a sudden we might have a chance at a championship again as we go down into turn 3, getting into the back of the 88. But Kyle Busch, he drops to the bottom lane in 3rd place. Hamlin goes to the top lane, and that's going to bring Kurt Busch and Kyle Busch into the mix now as we come through to the final lap of the championship finale. Harvick, he has absolutely nothing. I go to the inside of him and just breeze by him like it's nothing. Hamlin back to the top on this final lap. Kyle Busch passes his brother of Kurt. They're going to be side by side for the lead for the championship here out of turns 2 as they go down this back straightaway. That's the story we are watching now. Kyle Busch looking for championship number 2. Hamlin, his teammate, looking for championship number 1 as we've completely given it away here as Kyle Busch is going to go up the inside through turns 3 and turns 4 now as we're going to find a way somehow into the top 10. But out of turns 4, Kyle Busch passes Denny Hamlin, and he is going to come through to win the championship here in Homestead, Miami. Kyle Busch, now a 2-time champion. Denny Hamlin has to be destroyed. He led 57 laps, I can tell you that. He led 57 of the 67 laps here today. And very unfortunate for Denny Hamlin as Kyle Busch is now a 2-time champion. Could that have been Denny Hamlin's one of his final chances of winning a championship? Who knows? He had 8 wins this season, and that was Kyle Busch stealing the win on the final lap and the championship. And that was his 75th career win, putting him within 1 win of matching Dale Earnhardt, which he'll have to wait till next season to try and tie as well as beat now as he's going to do his championship celebratory burnout here. Is obviously myself disappointed to go out of Stewart-Haas Racing in this fashion. Just we did not quite have the speed that we needed, and obviously I couldn't show the points after the race or anything, but very unfortunate that we kind of go out like that. And I'm disappointed for you guys, as well as I saw so many positive comments hoping we could win the championship. Unfortunately, didn't quite happen for us here today in our first attempt at the Final Four. It was only our first attempt, so we obviously know we can hopefully have some more in the future. As you did see my quote there on the screen, just saying we just didn't have what we needed and whatnot, and things didn't work out in our favor. And next season, there you see our ride for the next season. We haven't actually signed the contract thingy yet, but we will be, and I'll be going over all the new team stuff next season. I want to go so much more in depth next season and try to at least and see how it goes. And as always, if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Those would all be very appreciated. The end of the 41 car era is over after 3 whole seasons. There is our stats on the screen. 12 wins with the 41 car in our first 3 seasons. We're going to see what we can do in the 42 car for our first ever team change in the Cup Series next season. Very excited for a new chapter in our career, and we're going to see what we can do in the Daytona 500. So thank you for watching, everybody, and have yourselves a great day.